Mike Merker here with the Crazy Puzzles podcast. This is episode 15, and before I waste another second, who are you and what are you all about, mister?
Hi, I'm Alex Shebar, and I'm all about, I guess, community and marketing. That's my jam. I like both these things a lot, and other interests as well. But if we're going to focus on one thing today, community and marketing.
You were suck at everything else. Your whole life is just community and marketing. Why?
No, are you kidding me? I love movies. I love dogs. I love taking long walks. I take epic long walks through the city, like 6-7 hour walks sometimes. I've got lots of interests. But if we're going to talk about something specific today, why not? Because community marketing I find fascinating. So I guess that's not my entire life, but I find it really interesting, and for lots of different reasons.
Why? Open that can of worms. You're the boss on the podcast here. You take it away.
Why? Because we are in an age right now where community as a sense is connecting. If we're going to go on the basic, like the most basic definition, it is a connection between groups of people. And that can be as small as just 2 or 3 people. You know, you can have community of people who prefer Pepsi over Coke. I think you're crazy, but you can. You can have community of haters, people who absolutely hate something, they come together. And we're living in this age where community or even connections of any kind are becoming more and more infrequent. You know, we are living in this digital age where we are spending our lives in front of screens. I spend my entire life in front of a screen. I work for myself. I have my own, agency. I'm in front of a screen, whether it's my phone or my computer. Sometimes I go, computer to tablet to phone, like the entire way through. I get it. And then the death of, what we call third spaces. So there used to be places where people would come together and spend time, malls or stores or things like that. Those are dying. So this, and then we can talk about the rise of AI, which is its own thing. But
Yes.
we are losing connection day to day. And what's fascinating, what I'm seeing more and more of, is that people are desperate for these connections. They're desperate in more ways than people are talking about to feel connected to people. So as technology is making us less connected, and we are more desperate to be reconnected. And that's why I think community is super important right now. And then marketing, if you can tap into that in a way that's authentic and organic, you'll do really well. If you can find a way to connect people through your product, because marketing, is kind of a buzzword and sometimes a bad word, but it doesn't have to be. It's about promoting something that's interesting to people if you can do it well, or it's just like spam ads that you see on YouTube and those suck. So understandable if marketing gives you a bad taste in your mouth.
Okay, that is a lot to unpack there. You've always worked for yourself? You've always worked for yourself, Alex? Or this is a new thing?
My goodness, no. I have worked for so many different companies. I was Yelp's former senior director of community. I worked for Bumble, Product Hunt, Culture Trip, Alamo Draft House. I have done lots of different corporate jobs. I started my agency, which is called NYC Social Club, in 2018 as kind of a freelance, just like whenever I could sort of thing. And then have been doing it really full time for about 2 years at this point. So yeah, this is a new adventure of a full time working for myself. It's been great. It's been really exciting.
You're coming from a journalist media background. Interesting. Oh yeah, tell the war stories of torture.
Yeah, I wanted to be a journalist forever. I did. That's where I got my degree. I have a degree in marketing and a degree in journalism. And that's what I thought I would do for the rest of my life. There's this saying in journalism that ink gets in your blood. As soon as you see your bio, you're just like, well, this is what I want to do. And that is what I wanted to do. But unfortunately, I got into journalism at the exact wrong time. It could not have been the worst time. If I got into journalism about 10 years earlier, I would have been a great features reporter, maybe a movie critic. I would have told really interesting stories, and I would have built a foothold. So when the industry evolved, I would have been able to kind of evolve with it. And if I got into it 10 years later, I would have done podcasting and video recording. I would have, but that did not exist when I was there. When I was there was the death of modern journalism. And in fact, I had all this interest in features, and I was doing stories. I was getting kind of quote unquote viral content before viral was a thing. And then they moved me to 3 to midnight breaking news. And so they said, pay your dues. And so I sat there in front of a police scanner waiting till someone was shot or stabbed or something burned down, or specifically someone was murdered. And then I'd have to go to those crime scenes, by myself. And I'm 22. I'm so young at this point. No, younger than that. I'm 18, 19. I just graduated. Yeah, so like it was awful.
Yes.
Yeah. It was just the worst experience. And that's what they wanted. They wanted, you to do this. And unfortunately, like that's what I hated. So to tell the end of that story, a thing called Twitter was just come out. Twitter has obviously become what Twitter has become, but at the time, Twitter was fascinating. It was a way to, again, like connect people, share news. I was seeing news shared on Twitter faster than the reporters were doing it. It was a great way to like,
Yes.
especially hyper locally. And so I started tweeting things I heard over the police scanner, things that I thought were funny. And this is legal. You can download a police scanner app. This is fine. And I'm at a crime scene one day, and a cop walks up to me, and he's like, "Did I hear you're Alex Shebar?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "I love your tweets, but I can never find them because Twitter search at the time was terrible." He's like, "You should create a website." I was like, "Okay," I did. And so I created, as far as I know, the first ever Overheard on Police Scanner website, and I was very proud of it. And then the newspaper suspended me and fired me over it in about 2.5 days because they were worried it could hurt their reputation with the police department. Now, later on, about 6 months after that, their sister paper at the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle would start running their own blotter about things overheard in the police department because, you know what? Sometimes it is not better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Sometimes you do need permission. But I didn't realize how deep I was in a very sad, very depressing newspaper hole until I got out of that hole. And then I look back being like, wow, that job was awful. And some people really love it. And if you are a crime reporter and you love it, good for you. That is a calling that I just did not have. I'm not saying the job is bad. I'm just saying it wasn't right for me.
Oh my God, there's so much there. Crime reporting, that's different than an entrepreneurial podcast or people talking about toy and inventing. Why? What's that like in a day of waiting for blood to be spilled and then trying to see an organization report and maybe profit off the ads of the selling of the information of the blood being spilled? That's the ultimate crime. Terrible. A curse.
It's awful because it's incredibly boring as you wait. So then you're working on like other stories to try to like fill in. And then as soon as something happens, you have to go to those crime scenes and nobody wants you there. Like if you're in a neighborhood where a crime just happened, the police don't want you there. They don't want you asking questions. And the neighborhood definitely don't want you asking questions. I had a knife pulled on me twice. I had a knife pulled on me. It's a nightmare. It's the worst job at a newspaper. There's a reason they put all young like cub reporters on there because it's awful. But in the meantime, I was doing stories that I really loved. Like stories that still made an impact. For instance, and you and I talked about this yesterday, but I'm happy to tell this. I will tell this story all the time. There is a building in Cincinnati called Union Terminal. It was at one point a very major train station, now just a very smaller train station, but now it's a museum. Now it's this beautiful Art Deco building. And it looks exactly like the Hall of Justice from either the Justice League or Superman, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yes.
It looks exactly like it. And when I moved to Cincinnati, no one knew why. They knew it did. Like everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that's the Hall of Justice." And you're like, "Why? What's the connection?" And no one knew, including the staff of Union Terminal, because I asked them, and they were like, "Well, we don't have that information." And so I tracked down the original animator who was 97 when I talked to him, and I found the actual story of why it is. It is my one major contribution to journalism and pop culture. It is on the Wikipedia page. You can still read the article. And in fact, in the latest James Gunn Superman movie, when they are building the Hall of Justice, it is filmed at Union Terminal in Cincinnati, Ohio. I am not saying that is because of my story, but I'm not saying that at least wasn't part of that story. And it made me very happy. I screamed when I was in the theater and I saw at Union Terminal. I actually legitimately screamed. It was amazing. So that was very cool.
Amazing. Okay, we're going to throw that link among other links in the description.
Sure.
Could we have... You got to plug your business for at least 30 seconds, a minute. Do the plug. We got to, throw in the plug. Oh, there we go. Everyone has the icon on the shirt. Social Club.
So I run a business called NYC Social Club. We are a basically content creator marketing agency. So we work with either content creators to do campaigns, or we have shifted into what's called UGC, user generated content. These are the ads you're seeing on Instagram or TikTok. They're shot by real people. We do not work with AI. We work with real creators and pay them real money. And they make real videos that are, things that they're interested in, whatever that product happens to be. And brands really like it because they create kind of interesting ads that maybe don't feel so much like ads. They feel authentic and human. They want you to stop scrolling because you're interested in what they're saying. And hopefully that's the way it works. So that is what we do right now at NYC Social Club, nycsocialclub.com.
Amazing. And I'm hearing this for the first time, and I'm local to you, and I'm in New York or the surrounding areas, or it's a subway trip away or a Uber away. What do you get? What's the onboarding? How do I squeeze you, get involved as fast as possible? Because it speaks to me, and I see a rectangle glasses guy unshaven with some crazy media angle, whatever. Me
Listen,
too.
you gotta rock the stubble. That's how it works. You know what? I always encourage businesses that if we make sense, we're very good at what we do. So when you're trying to market a product, you need to get the word out there. Ad Age talks about the fact that it takes about 6 to 8 times to hear about a brand before you purchase that, and that is including basic things like toothpaste. Like if you're going to switch a toothpaste brand, it's going to take 6 to 8 times to hear about that product, to see it in the stores, to actually get recognized by it, to actually want to be part of that. So if people are already on social media, if they're scrolling TikTok, they're scrolling Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, you should be running ads there. If you have a business that needs to get the word out there, that's where you should be targeting people, because they need to hear about your business or it's not going to work. The issue is everybody hates ads. Everyone hates ads. Like YouTube has this, like when you're watching YouTube and there's an ad before it, think about this. They have a desperation strategy. It's like, wait 5 seconds and you can skip this ad. Please desperately wait 5 seconds. What a ridiculous way to run an ad. That they're like begging you. You are like forced to sit there 4 or 5 seconds to watch an ad because the ads are so boring and bad that you're like, well, I can't wait to skip this. That's not what ads should be. Ads should connect with you personally. The one thing that I really like about kind of the personalization of internet, I am very nervous, obviously, about data being shared, but the personalization of the internet, at least if things are targeted towards you that make sense and are interesting towards what you're interested in. So if we can create ads that are actually interesting, they've got funny hooks, they've got think about why people watch the Super Bowl ads. It's because they're funny, they're interesting, they're engaging. You can create ads that are funny, interesting, and engaging and informative. They make you want to learn more. Then maybe it's not so bad to kind of watch that. So that's what we tend to do, and we do it really well. We do it faster, we do it more tailor-made than most agencies, and we do it a lot cheaper than most agencies.
Cheaper. I heard the word cheaper.
Cheap.
Are you secretly Jewish? Tell about the cheaper. Who's your competitor?
I am Jewish. But
a joke. Obviously, he's Jewish.
Yeah, obviously. My competitors are agencies. Anybody running UGC at this point, anybody who's trying to do marketing, and they do what they do really well. There's a lot of them that have been established for a long time, but they just, they come in and they're like, we're $5,000 to $10,000 a campaign, and I'm just like, why? Like literally,
yes.
The price they're charging for a business is crazy, and then small businesses or businesses who are launching could never afford them, and that's not cool. So we have worked with brands like Amazon, Oreo, Brooks Brothers. We were just on the Virgin Creator Cruise. We've worked with really big brands, but my heart, as I said, I was Yelp Senior Director of Community for a long time. Is small businesses. It's businesses who want to get the word out there. That's what I love, helping small independent businesses. Let's go.
Amazing. I heard Yelp, and you had a big role there.
What,
Yelp was a good experience, or was it a nightmare? Only say what you feel comfortable saying.
No, it was a great experience. It really was. Yelp has kind of this love-hate relationship, especially with business owners, because anybody can get on the internet and say whatever they want. And I get that. And when I was at Yelp and I deal with these business owners, they'd be like, look at these 2 reviews. They're so awful. And I'd pull up their page and they would have 2,000 reviews or 200 reviews. And they were all glowing. And there were 2 people with bad experience. And I was like, you got to believe me. Like if somebody's pulling up your page, they're going to read those bad reviews, but they're not going to trust them. They're going to look and be like, this place has 4.5 stars. Sure, there are 2 bad reviews, but it's personally affecting you because it's your business. To your average consumer, you are fine. But I get that like people are like, well, they can just say whatever they want. Sure, anybody can say whatever they want at any point. They can go to all their friends. They can get on social media now. But what Yelp does is make an even playing field for small businesses. You know, if somebody is looking for, a burrito, they can go to Chipotle. They know Chipotle, and I'm not even saying don't go to Chipotle. Chipotle is great. But if you want to support that small independent business and you don't know where to go, businesses like Yelp are super important. So I loved my time at Yelp. We did great events. We did really cool things. I have nothing but amazing things. They brought me to London. I lived in London for about 5 years. I was overseeing kind of the growth of Europe. That was really amazing. Again, only good things to say about Yelp. Absolutely.
Wait a second. You've worked at you've had some really interesting jobs, some good jobs, some bad jobs. Now
Sure.
you decided to be your own man. Why? Are you insane? Are you completely nuts?
I mean, yes, obviously, but like, you know what? I was downsized from another marketing firm because, or a marketing department within a company, because when the recession happens, when budgets get tight, marketing is the first to go. They just stop spending money on ads. And I get that, but like, I always believed for the longest time that like having a full company job would be stable and would be safer and would be better for me. And then it turns out, no, it wasn't. I kept losing these jobs because of what was going on. And I was like, actually, this isn't stable. This isn't good for me. And so when I was unemployment, when I was unemployed for that time, and I was on unemployment, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this time in unemployment, and I'm going to try to build a business. And I'm not going to be making a lot of money, and I'm going to use this as a chance to actually try to do something. And by the time the unemployment ran out, I had built a business. And then I was like, actually, I'm very happy to get off unemployment, and I'm very happy to be making money off a real business. And now it's my business, and that was.
Yes.
I was very sad to be downsized from a company, but it gave me an opportunity to try something in a way that like maybe I wouldn't have had beforehand, or like I would have had to like sneakily build it like on the side. And that's not what I want to be doing. As I mentioned, like NYC Social Club existed, but I wasn't doing it full time. I was just taking on a gig, working on weekends, working on nights, whenever it kind of made sense. But that gave me a chance to at least try to do it full time, quote unquote, full time without the money, because I didn't have any clients. So, full time, quote unquote.
You're spilling all the truth and genuine and confessing everything. Is this the way to be? Should we be confessing all our sins publicly and admit everything openly? Isn't that too much?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know if that's a sin. I literally I was still applying for jobs because I was worried that maybe I wasn't going to make it, but it wasn't my main focus. Like, when I'd been unemployed before, it was just like, gotta find a job, gotta network. And this time I was like, nope, I'm going to apply for jobs as they come up. I would spend, what I did when I was unemployed before is I was frantic. I would apply for like 30 jobs a day, and they were jobs I wouldn't want. And what I did this time is I would spend a lot more time on the application. I would write a really good cover letter. I would reach out to the right networking. So I would apply to maybe like 1 or 2 jobs a day, but I would do a much better job. And then I was taking the free time and actually putting it towards building a business. And I actually had some interviews and things that maybe could have gone somewhere, but they just like either didn't go anywhere, or by the time I actually got one offer, but at that point I had enough clients to be like, you know what, actually I don't want this full-time job. I actually had this offer come in 6 months ago, probably I would have taken it. But now I actually want to see what I'm doing personally. So I don't think I'm spilling secrets. However, I do think you should be honest and truthful with yourself. And I think that like you shouldn't do things. All right, so I'm a big believer that if you do something and it doesn't hurt yourself or someone else, there is nothing wrong with that thing. Like,
yes.
I really believe it. Like, I think the judgment that we have, I think that like this is a society filled with like gossip and rumors and judgment. And like, if it makes you happy and it hurts no one, literally no one, we all need to just like get off our high horse and stop. And so, like, I think that's true about information, too. If you share information and it's truthful, honest information and it doesn't hurt anybody, but it's something that makes people be like, whoa, that's a hot take. Great. Share that hot take. Like that makes you interesting.
Okay. This is so much to take in. And what about content? And what about the platform? Are you an Instagram guy? Are you a TikTok guy? Are you a YouTube guy? Are you an Apple Podcast guy? Are you a LinkedIn guy? What kind of social media squares are popping up on your phone?
Yeah, if you look me up, I'm pretty prevalent on Instagram. I think I have about 83,000 followers. I've grown back to something interesting. Yeah, not enough to like be like, quote unquote, an influencer, whatever you want to use that phrase for, but content creator for sure. And it's mostly movie and pop culture content. I make a lot of like movie content. It's my hyper interest. I love watching movies. And then I'm on TikTok as well. I think I have about 14,000 followers there. It's fun. It's a fun way to share things. Like I'll I just watched this new horror movie called Obsession, and I am
Yes.
in the true title of the word, obsessed with it. Like, it was such a good movie. I can't stop thinking about it. And so I've been creating a lot of content around it, just being like, hey, like, you need to see this movie if you're a horror movie fan, if you're a fan of toxic relationships, if you love like movies that just continually get worse and you're just like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? And so like, it gives me a platform to talk about that, because I love talking about that. So I the best advice I can give anybody for social media is do not take it seriously. Like, even with marketing, if you are taking it too seriously, if you are trying too hard, it comes off, it's desperate, it's bad. Just like, have fun with it or you'll burn yourself out. Don't take it seriously. My God, just like, it is silly and ridiculous and a lot of fun. And also, like, again, we'll pull it all back. A really good way to build community. I've met amazing people through my social media, and that's been really fun too. So yeah, that's me on social media.
Oh my God. Okay, interesting. And what about haters gonna hate? You got any critics? You got some haters? I got like 100 people are like, oh, Merker, we're gonna come after you. We heard you swearing again. You can't swear and pretend to be a rabbi. Talk about some haters gonna hate.
So I'm a big believer that the opposite of love isn't hate, it is apathy. So if you are doing something and somebody is not responding, if they are not caring, if they just like are not like caring at all, that's the opposite of being interested. It's not that they hate you, it's that they are so bored by you, there's no interest there at all. Opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. The opposite, so hate is a reaction. So I post things all the time. And people are like, you're the biggest idiot that has ever lived. And I'm just like, that's sure. I did a video about Mandela effects in movies, things that you absolutely remember that did not happen. The amount of hate I got from people who were like, that absolutely happened. And you're just like, no, it didn't. Like, it literally didn't. And I know you believe that it happened, but like, that's the point of this video. That's the exact point of this video, is like, these things did not happen. And you believe that they did. And I can't tell you the amount of like angry people being like, that absolutely happened. You're just like, that's amazing. Because the whole video is the whole point of the video is like, you remember it wrong. No worries. Like, I love when people write me like an angry comment, because like it gives me a chance to kill them with kindness, because I'll always hop in and be like, hey, like, thanks for watching. Totally get what your opinion is. Sorry my content isn't good for you. There's a lot of movie content out there. Hopefully somebody out there likes you more than like they like me, or you like them more than they like me, and good luck. Like, have a great adventure. And that's a really fun comment to give, to be like, yeah, bro, I read your comment. Cool. I'm glad you had the audacity to say that on the internet. You're wild. Hate. I don't think hate is a bad thing. I do think that it can affect you pretty negatively. And if you are feeling like it's too much, my God, take a break. Take a break from whatever you're doing. Take a step away. Find, touch grass. Take some mental health. Like, yeah, hate, again, creates engagement in a really good way, but like, also it can affect you negatively. Don't let it do that. Like, if you need to take a break, take your break, or step away from it permanently if it's too much, because I'm sorry if that is the level that you're at. That sucks, because people can be really mean.
Oh my God. Okay, this is very interesting. And can we talk a little bit? Me and you, we can't hide it. We got crazy ADHD. Do you call ADHD your superpower? Is that what I heard you say the other day? Tell the sermon. Tell the spiel.
Yeah. I have ADHD. I was diagnosed in college. It's a mixed bag. It is a superpower. For getting things done. For getting things done, ADHD is the most incredible. Like, you give me a list of 10 things, I'm going to get most of them done, if not all of them done, in a very short amount of time. I will power through it. Here's the issue, though, right? I will get that thing done, and then somebody will come to me and be like, why didn't you do that this way? Why didn't you think about X? And I'll be like, because it never occurred to me. I was so focused. I was so blinded on doing X. I just never even saw about like an alternative way to do it. I didn't ask anyone for help. I just like went and I did it. And so like that's okay when you're working on, a business thing and it doesn't really affect it because the work gets done. That's less great when you're dealing with, let's say, like social situations, empathy situations, emotional situations. I miss things. I miss social cues. I miss connections that I should be having. I don't see it in the same way that other people do. And I am a big believer that mental health is a reason, not an excuse. So when I end up missing a social cue and it hurts someone, that is on me. It's not like, oh, I had ADHD. You know, tough shit. It's not. It's my ADHD caused me to do this. Why did it cause me to do this? I'm so sorry. How can I make this right? And then how can I work on this for the future to make sure that I don't do this again? Because like, I'll be honest, I'm 40. I've hurt people in the past, and I am. Therapy's fun. I'm trying not to have shame over it, because shame is a spiral that doesn't actually, you just like feel like there's no escaping it. You just don't fix anything. But I have so many regrets. So many regrets.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I love therapy. What's your favorite thing about therapy? Emptying yourself, or fixing yourself, or running to the person who hates you and saying, let's make a peace treaty. Talk about how much great therapy and mixes well with media entrepreneurship.
Therapy is interesting, because therapy, sometimes the best revelations I've ever had in therapy are the simplest, smallest, stupidest things, but it took me, let's say, a year to get there. Yes. And it took an expert to be like, this is why this. Like, for instance, we'll do a nice little therapy session here. For a long time there, when I was in a bad headspace, what my therapist described as run from sadness. So I would do whatever, like, hit that dopamine. I would go eat junk food. I would, play video games all night long. I would do whatever I needed to. And my therapist finally was like, hey, instead of running from sadness, why don't you chase happiness? Why don't you think in that moment what you actually need? Do you need to read a book? Do you need fresh air? Do you need to listen to music? And I'll tell you honestly, that act of being like, oh God, I'm in this bad headspace. Okay, what do I need? I need to go take a walk. I need some fresh air. Even the act of thinking about what I need calms me down. And then I go do that thing and I'm like, wow, I'm in a much better headspace now. And so instead of like spending the next like 6 to 7 hours chasing dopamine, doing a million things that I shouldn't be doing because that's what it was, I actually take the action and be like, okay, let's do the good thing. That is a very simple, very stupid, like that is not, I should not need to be told, hey, instead of like doing X, do Y. But I did need to be told that. And it did change my life. And it does make me into a better, more thoughtful person. And that's therapy. Therapy, like, and to get there, that took 6 months. And you're just like, cool, y'all. Our brains are really wild. Like, it just.
Yeah, I love therapy. And what are your thoughts about always having trinkets that you play with to calm? I always have a trinket under the table. You're a trinketer. I knew it.
Constantly, I've got this like cute little spinning dial. It's like you put it on your finger and you like spin it. Fidget toys, man. Like I get it.
Because it calms me down so much. I'm ready to kill someone, and then I'm like, no, get the fidget toys under the table. Hold Michael, hold yourself. Yeah. How come we can't talk? How come the mainstream media, even the independent media, doesn't go deep into the admittance that to be creative, you have to have a little ADD, ADHD, and you need your trinkets and you need your therapy. That's part of success. That's part of success.
They do, but only in the sense that like they're like, think about the eccentric genius. Like if you are at the top of your field, you can be as weird as you want. If you are getting to the top of your field, then you just come off as, a jerk or
it's true.
And like, but like, all those eccentric geniuses are just still assholes. Like they really are. Like you look at any of them, Picasso to Steve Jobs, like down the line, they're all unbelievable monsters and they're amazing. They like did amazing things. And so when you don't have the power behind you, when you don't have the clout, when you don't have the bona fides, then you just come off as weird or you come off as like abnormal. And then people don't know how to deal with you. And sometimes instead of dealing with you, it's easier just to get frustrated at you. Or it's easier to just be like, why aren't you normal? Why aren't you like everybody else? Why do you need a trinket? Why do you need to focus this way? Why do you need to like have a conversation this way? Why can't you just do it like everybody else?
Yes.
And again, I think it's a mix of, with ADHD, with autism, masking is a really big thing because we're trying to be like everybody else because A, it's better socially, you fit in, and then B, you sometimes need to because the world does not change for your needs and your views. And so sometimes you need to actually adjust yourself so you can be like, again, as I mentioned, mental health, not an excuse. But I think if you understand where your deficiencies are, where you actually need help. It is easier to figure out how to like keep yourself. Again, I have this fidget toy right here. It's usually off camera. It's usually like right down here. Doesn't bother anyone. It doesn't show anything like you can't see it right now. I've been spinning it. It doesn't bother anyone. It helps me, and that's okay. And that's kind of what I'm saying is like, if I need something and it's not bothering anybody, then it's okay. And if it is going to bother somebody, like if it is something, I'm pretty upfront about it. And I'm just like, look, sometimes I'm too blunt. Sometimes I'm too,
yes.
I lay things out. I'll lay things out because I want you to have all the information, but I can understand it comes off as either like argumentative or as an excuse. Like when I'm arguing with somebody and I want them to have all the facts, it can very much come off as excuses. Well, this is why I did this. This is why I did that. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm trying to give you the logic and the information behind it because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. But that's not how arguments work. Arguments are emotional. And people don't want to hear like a logical, well-structured thing. They want to hear about like why you did the thing you did and then why you are like apologetic for it and how do you like fix that. It shouldn't come down to like being like cold-hearted machinery. So sometimes I have to go to someone and be like, look, if I do this, I'm not meaning to be a dick. Call me out on it. I promise you, I will also get to the emotional elements of it. And I'm trying to work on this because again, as I mentioned, not an excuse. So I'm trying to be like more like empathetic and emotional over contextual. It doesn't always work as well as it hopes to be.
Okay.
But you do the best you can. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Pretty much every single day we're making mistakes and we do the best that we possibly can, or we really are assholes and then you like cut people off because they just like are the worst. And if that's what happens, then you cut them out of your life, and that's what needs to happen. And that goes for me too. If I've ever been an unmitigated asshole to you and you've cut me out of your life, then that's probably for the best because I have hurt you in ways that you are not willing to forgive, and that's okay.
Oh my God, this is so deep and heartfelt, and you love your clients. You love them and you study them and you try to conquer, you kill with kindness, and you are overdoing it. And is that the way to run a service-oriented business?
You know what? I believe that everybody is a person. Like, I think that too many businesses look at people, either their clients or their customers, as numbers, as dollar signs, as an item on a spreadsheet. And, as I said, like, I'm a big community person. I loved, when I was building community, I loved it because every new member of the community was somebody new, somebody special, somebody like a real person who's come in. And, like, I get to know them. And, like, or I never got to know them because the communities were too big, but they would make connections and friendships, and these were real people. And when I'm working with businesses, when I'm working with my clients, I understand these are like, especially the smaller ones, are like real people just trying to build a business, trying to do something authentic. And like, if I started treating them as spreadsheets, or I started just like treating them like anybody else, then A, they're not going to keep me as a client. And then B, they're not going to like look at me like, because I want them to look at me like a person. So I want us to build something together where we've been working together. Like I have this client at a fair. I work with them for content creation. We bring down content creators to try interesting fair foods. Like weird, like donut or like fruity pebble shrimp po' boys. They're so good. And we go to like the Minnesota State Fair, the Texas State Fair, the biggest state fairs in the world. I've been working with them now. They were one of those clients that I was doing stuff with freelance. So a long time, since 2018, basically when I started this business. And they, I've always like, they're amazing. They're a family. They're a mom and pop shop. I know them. I know their family. I've never looked at them like, sorry, you can hear the puppies in the background. I've never looked at them like they're just like another, like an invoice that comes in. And if I ever did, oh my God, like shut down my business. Whenever I go, I want them to like be like the idea of like treating them anything less than like how I would want like my family. Like if my family started a business and they hired a marketing person, if somebody didn't treat them the way that I was trying to treat FunBiz, like shoot them, Jesus, like don't shoot them, like fire them, because like we are doing the best we can, and we all are trying to make connections. And I don't know, I look at businesses that started, Apple's a great example. Apple was the go-to business of building community. They had evangelists. They were so in touch with Apple fanboys. They understood what people wanted. They built a business on the backs of like what these interesting, weird people. And now Apple's like, we release a new iPhone and it has a better camera and you will spend $1,200 on it and people will. And they just do not care at all about, and you know what? They don't have to. They don't have to. And they have a bottom line and they have shareholders. But like, I look at what Apple was, and Apple is the most, just like when Apple began, they were so clever, so creative, so interesting. All the fandom, the dedication, those Apple fanboys, it was all well deserved. And
yes.
Companies big to do that sometimes. And that's really like, I'm not saying again that Apple shouldn't be doing what Apple should be doing. Capitalism is what it is, but it is heartbreaking to watch what Apple was and what they have become. And that's just like really sad because they were so interesting for a long time. And now they're not. And that's okay.
Wow. So much. Okay, well, this is jam-packed with wisdom and insight and heartfelt words. And what about a friend, a family member, someone a few steps down, a struggling founder, a struggling entrepreneur?
Sure.
Do you care? Do you devote time into mentorship and love and hugging and words of praise and honor? Are you helping the one who's a few steps below, struggling?
Not just family. I'll help wherever I can. You and I were connected through this app called Bordy, which is fascinating. So y'all, if you've never heard of Bordy, and I hadn't either until about 2 months ago, it's an AI system, and then we can get into AI, which is the whole other
thing. Get into it, as you wish.
We'll talk about it. Let me get through Bordy, and then we'll talk about AI. It's an AI system that connects people like-minded, or not even like-minded, like skilled people who could. It's basically a networking bot, and so it goes, look, you're doing marketing. This person is launching a podcast, toys, whatever it happens to be. Yes, indeed. Maybe the two of you should be connected. Hey, look at that. It's so cool. This is a really cool product. It honestly is a very cool product. Maybe you should be, oh, that's cool. Maybe you should be connected. And it's like, okay, let's have a conversation. Whenever I end those conversations, and I did this with you.
Yeah.
It's always, look, like, if you need marketing services, I think I'm good for you. But if you have a question about marketing, if you have a question about content creation, if you just have a question, hit me up. You don't need to hire me. I don't need to be a consultant. I don't need to charge for every dollar out there. Like, I am so happy just to answer questions. Whatever I can do, just send me a message. And like, I mean it. And I will. I'll get messages from someone 6 months from now being like, hey man, like 6 months ago we had a meeting. You talked a little bit about content creation. You said, hit me up. I've got this influencer. Should I work with them? And I will take a look at who that influencer is and be like, yeah, definitely. Like, this person is absolutely worth the money, or no, like, do not work with this person. I'll tell you why. And that's just being a person. That's just like trying to connect. So I will mentor absolutely where I can. I'm working with interns right now. I am paying those interns. Pay your interns.
Yes, pay your interns. Can we say that? Can we shout that from the mountaintops? You have to pay the interns. You have to pay.
We're already in the darkest timeline. Don't make it worse for people. Anyway, off track. So yeah, mentorship is super important. Like again, I'm 40. I got where I was because I had some really incredible mentors, like really incredible people who like helped me, like looked after me, gave me advice. Like, who would I be if I couldn't do the same? My God, like, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, my God. Absolutely, my God. And oh, so much going on here. I have so many questions. UGC, user-generated content. Are you big on raw, with one take, post it, or are you sensitive to the editing and the post-production? And we have to take it into the cutting room, and 1,000 people have to touch it. Or are you a raw, go, push it through, done, boom?
It depends on what you want to put out there. If you want to do like you and I, this is raw. Like this is a podcast. I assume you might probably do some editing just to get rid of like.
I will do no editing and just boom.
Raw. Here we are. Whatever.
Is that kosher? Teach me, Rabbi.
No. I don't think it's bad at all. I think that like live streaming is really like big right now. People will get on live stream and just talk for an hour because they have stuff to say. That's awesome. But like if you're making a video that you want to capture people's attention, you want to get like what they're interested in, you probably do need edits. You need quick cuts. You need a hook. You need something that like catches their attention from the beginning. So it depends on kind of what video you are doing. I usually edit most of my content just for brevity, just to remove ums and ahs and pauses and stuttering and exactly this. Like this would never make it into a video because like if you've got, you know, a minute, you want to learn about a movie fact, you shouldn't have me here like me thinking about what I like, thinking about what I'm going to say. Okay, I have the take. I did the take. Oh, the take was bad. It didn't come out in the way I wanted to. Let's do a second take. You should just get that information. So it really depends on what the video is. Like, no movie, even documentaries, like, yeah. I don't know why I said that weird. Even documentaries, like are edited because like you have to like, you want to tell a story. So, you know, use the format for whatever you're doing. Tell the story in the way that you want to be telling it and the way that's going to get people's attention. And then if it's live, great. And if it's not, that's also great. No worries.
So interesting. And what about the concept of false honor and hype? Should we pretend a little bit? Should we fluff out our chest? Should we say we're the founder and CEO if the company doesn't even have a product or any revenue? Should we say we're greater than who we are, or should we say who we are?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I don't think you should lie. I think if you lie, you will get caught. Like, do not lie. Should you like enhance your like, you know, your bona fides a little bit? Like, you know, like okay, I did a contract with Facebook. It lasts 4 months. This is not me. I'm just giving an example. Whatever. You do a contract with Facebook. You work for 4 months. Can you now say I worked with Facebook? I did a campaign with Facebook? Sure. Was it a very long campaign where you know, is it the same bona fides as working for Facebook for 10 years? No. But do you need to go into details? No. Did you do that contract with Facebook? Do you get to put Facebook as a client on your resume? Yes, you do. So like, I wouldn't lie. Like, don't lie. But like, should you enhance yourself? Should you like talk about the things that are like successful and like show off? You know what? If you started a business, if you license that, like if you look, NYC Social Club, registered business. Was I being like, I started an agency. I'm founder of an agency. Before I really had any clients? Yes, I was, because I needed to get clients. But none of that was untrue. I was a founder of an agency. If they wanted to know who my clients were, I was going to talk about my social media stuff. I wasn't going to lie to them about what it was. But like, was I like, now when people ask, I'm like, oh, I own a marketing agency. I really mean that. Like, I actually have clients. I really have an agency. My website looks really nice. You should check it out. NYCSocialClub.com.
Link in the YouTube description. We're gonna put all the links in. That's my job. We have to support. Sorry to interrupt. We have to support the interviewer. You like to be interviewed. Do you like to be interviewed?
Why? Why do I like to talk? Because I like to. Okay, so like either in circumstances, I like to have discussions. I like to learn from people. In this case, where you were interviewing me and you're asking questions, I like to share wisdom. I hope that if someone listens to this, they walk away and be like, okay, I took 2 or 3 really good things away. I'm going to like try that project that I didn't try before, because what's the worst that could happen? You know, I fail. Okay, but then I tried something and I learned from it. I was working on a startup. We had a startup about snacks and it failed. It failed. And it was really sad that it failed because I thought it was really cool. But like, I would not go back and have not tried that for a second. Like that was
unpack. You spent a lot of time. There was money lost. So much time. And a friend and you together failed. What did you learn? Oh
God, so much. I learned that you can't start a business that requires like an actual overhead of money without money. That business the reason that business failed, completely honestly, is because we needed to be storing the snacks and drop shipping them. It was okay. So Taste Space was a place for independent snacks to come together and show off their brands. There are 100,000 new snacks that launch every single year, and most of them will not get on to a grocery store shelf. You'll never hear about them unless they do marketing. Back to marketing. So I wanted a website. This guy, he started it. He was awesome, and I came in and I came to help him, and we were building it together, and we wanted to get the word out there. But because we couldn't drop ship, you had to pay for shipping, and because of places like Amazon, no one wants to pay for shipping. So these snacks were too expensive, and nobody bought them. And we needed a warehouse that we could actually like ship these things out, and it made no sense. And we ended up dying because no one bought the snacks, and that is a lesson learned, and that sucks. And that's really hard because like a lot of businesses need overhead to start, and it's gonna be. Oh my God! I I did an interview with the guy who, oh my God, what are they called? Good crisps. Is that what they're called? They're like really nice baked crisps, like chips, like salt and vinegar chips. I can't remember. They come in like a tube. They look like Pringles. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I think they're called.
It's okay. I will research, put it in the description. That'll be number 6. Yeah.
He told the story about how Walmart was placing an order for him, and it was incredible. Like it was going to be the thing that literally gets him out there. But he needed to order the product before Walmart signed the contract. So he had to take a loan out, like a lien on his house, with the expectation that Walmart was going to sign this contract. And if they didn't, he was screwed. He was like absolutely screwed. And had to either roll the dice and be like, Walmart, we have a handshake, but we have nothing in writing. They could turn around tomorrow and be like, no, and I would be screwed. And luckily, everything worked out for them, and now they are like, global company. They're great. They're awesome. But like, what, like imagine your heart at that moment being like, I have.
God, I never did that. I never would put a limb. My wife would kill me. My wife would kill me.
He had this opportunity. He was going to build this business. Walmart was going to buy it and put it in all their stores. How could he be like, how could I say no? Like, how could he be like,
tough call.
No.
Tough call.
So like, sometimes you're going to have to take these risks. And like, that is a really scary thing to do. That's a terrifying thing to do. And so like, businesses sometimes need money. And like, I get it. Is like, but I wouldn't go back and I wouldn't change a single thing about trying to run that startup. I was so happy that we went through Techstars, like we got to like incubator programs.
Wow.
Like we were doing really, I learned so much from doing that. That like when I was really getting into NYC Social Club, I was able to take those skills, and like it's a very different business, but like a lot of the same applicable skills. So yeah, try stuff. Like, oh my God, definitely try stuff. Like it's so exciting just to like try something.
Okay. Oh my God, this has been incredible. Can we have, if you're up for it, we have to have a round 2, another hour or so.
We can yeah.
Amazing. And I promise, I'm committing publicly that this video will go a long form raw. What's it, 45 minutes? And then 48 minutes. And then I should cut how many? I'm good with the Canva and the Magisto. As a emerging, struggling UGC learner, how many short form YouTube or TikToks should be made from this video? Expert.
Oh my God. No, don't go into it with that question. Don't be like, I need 10. Because if you do 10, you'll do 10 terrible ones. There are so many, and you know, we didn't even get an AI. So round 2, we're gonna have to talk about AI. But there are so many programs out there that would break this down to you automatically for clips, and people just do that and then post it. And the clips are boring. They're bad clips. And so like then people watch these clips because people are like, I gotta get content. If people watch these clips, I'm like, I'm not listening to this podcast. This podcast is boring. Because they posted stuff that makes no sense and is just because, okay, look, it's a complete thought, but it's not at all interesting. So if you go in being like, I need 10 clips from this podcast interview, you do 2 great clips and 8 boring clips, and what do you think people are gonna see? They're gonna see those boring clips and they're not gonna wanna watch the show. So do not go in with I need X amount of clips. Go in with like okay, look, I got 5 really good tidbits from this thing. That's all I'm posting. Because anything more than that is not worth short form content. Don't post it. Don't post it.
We're hearing it here from Alex. We're hearing it from Alex. Is don't post it and hearken. Put on your listening ears. Here's the wisdom. And long form. Should we have a long form on a YouTube and a LinkedIn?
Yeah. Long form on YouTube is great. Like that's exactly where it should be. And let me be clear, there are people who have the opposite advice from me. There are people who are like, I post on TikTok 100 times a day, and then like 2 of them will hit. And I'm just like, yeah, they will. Like you're absolutely right. Those 2 will hit, and you will get 100,000 views off those 2. But what do you think they're gonna do when they click on your page and they see that you have 100 videos from yesterday and all of them have 5 to 10 views and they're all boring clips? Do you think they're going to follow you? Do you think they're going to engage with you? Do you think they're going to want to like support you when you're building a business and you want to like sell to people, but in a way that's authentic and true and being like, I bought this business? They don't care. So the people who are like, I'm just putting out content, they are about building content. They are not about building community. And if that is your goal, to just have content, to have TikTok pay you for content on a consistent basis, you know what? Post all day long. But if you are a podcast looking to get subscribers who people want, you want them listening over and over again, don't do that, because that's not your end goal. What is your end goal? What is the why of why you're doing something? and then work towards that goal. And they could be two very different goals for two very different things. In fact, they should be two different goals.
Amen. Amen. Oh, yeah, amazing. Okay, we were going to pause over here.
Wrap it up.
We're going to pause over here. Round 2 should be about AI. What's the other side topic for round 2?
Honestly, I didn't know any of these topics were going to be here, so
Me neither. We will wing it. We will wing it. Thank you, Alex. And we're going to pause here. That was the end of episode 15. And look, I myself am struggling, figuring it out. And we're going to post it to YouTube and add it to the playlist. Amazing.